Aliyah and Integration Minister, member of Knesset Ofer Sofer, was at Ben Gurion Airport Thursday to greet a flight of new immigrants from war-torn Ukraine. The 37 new immigrants on flight joined 631 other immigrants who have already arrived since 1st of January, right now this month, getting this year's Aliyah launch off to a really good start. It's so amazing to be able to be at Ben Gurion Airport when these Jewish people come and land from a war-torn country into this beautiful country. It's a harrowing journey on their way to Israel as a result of the war. And we are at the Aliyah Return Center so glad to welcome them. You know, the chief rabbi of Ukraine, his name is Rabbi Reuven Assman, also met with Sofer, the new head of Aliyah and Absorbtion of Israel, on Thursday to discuss the situation in Ukraine. The rabbi informed him about the complex situation in Ukraine and the state of the Jewish people and the community and the country and how it's all going into the future. Sofer said in a social media post, "We discussed the difficulties of absorbing the new immigrants who arrived in Israel during the war and the ways in which they can be helped." As the Minister of Aliyah and Immigration, he says he will do his very best to help every Jew who's in Ukraine. The number of new immigrants to Israel from both Ukraine and Russia is on track to continue an upward trajectory in 2023 as the war between these two countries shows no sign of de-escalating. On Tuesday morning, the Ukrainian general staff announced that it was contending with several new Russian attacks on cities in the eastern Donetsk region following the air and missile strikes on several cities all over the country. The Russian air offensive has already resulted in a loss of electrical power, heat, communications for hundreds of thousands of residents of Ukrainian cities, while fighting on the front lines has reportedly resulted in high casualty rate for both sides. This week, reports of an anti-Putin underground movement in Russia, which has already carried out dozens of arson and sabotage attacks all over the country in an effort to undermine the Kremlin war effort. Some commentators have noticed that the general deterioration in law and order, as well as the long-standing trend of declining state support for social services, especially in areas outside the large cities, does not bode well for Jews and other minorities in the country. The quality of life for the general public, including Jewish people, it continues to decline in Russia. People are getting angry and desperate, and so they're starting to look for someone to blame, is what analysts say. In Russia, the Jews are the first one to take the blame when things go wrong. That's the way it goes. As previously reported, the Jewish Agency racked up over 70,000 new immigrants to Israel in 2022, the largest number of arrivals in many years. The overwhelming majority of these are from Russia and Ukraine, although also high numbers come from other countries like the United States, France, the UK. We are here to help. And what does it all mean? Okay? The war between Russia and Ukraine is intensifying, even as civil conflict inside Russia continues to grow against President Vladimir Putin and his many enemies. It's also heating up. This situation bears a striking resemblance to what happened in Russia in 1917, when the Russian army was struggling with bitter and stubborn enemy forces in the West, and factions inside the country were involved, and it created quite a whirlpool. The events of 1917 led to a very severe season of history that saw tremendous suffering for everyone in Russia, especially the Jewish people. The main difference between then and now is that now there's a Jewish state for the Jewish people of Russia to flee to. And so the government of Israel, along with the Jewish Agency, and along with all these other organizations, including the Aliyah Return Center, were aware that they need a lot of support when they get here. The Aliyah Return Center was founded to support the efforts of this country, Israel, in providing housing, Hebrew language course, job training, food, clothing, shelter, furniture. I mean, even scholarships for higher learning. We really want them to be able to have a soft landing when they arrive here to our ancestral homeland. And we're so excited to continue to even expand these efforts. So please pray for us and consider taking a step with us financially. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to keeping you posted as to the latest developments that relate to Aliyah and return and restoration. God bless you from the land of Israel.